Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Fisher. Pro Bowl fullback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Anthony Sherman. Team captain and linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kamu Grugier-Hill.
Can you make some noise and welcome our NFL superstars? Eric, Anthony, Kamu. Come on, show some love. Yeah. Awesome. Wow, what an incredible opening session from Pastor Jeremy. And now we're looking forward to hearing from these guys, and we're so excited to have all three of you joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this night, to be able to pour in to the men in the arena tonight. And so we're really excited to hear about their stories. But before we jump in, I do want to give a special shout out to our partner in putting on this panel, to World Serve International. And they're doing an amazing work all across Africa, providing clean water to those in need. We love partnering with them. They're an amazing organization, and we so appreciate the great work that World Serve is doing. Well, fellas, you are in the midst of OTAs right now, organized team activities, and it's game on again. How has it been transitioning from the off-season and getting back into the game?
Yeah, I'll go first. First off, it's the first time a lineman has ever been called a superstar. But it is good to be here. I am so honored to be in front of all of you today. And I'm excited to share a little bit of my story with you. But yeah, the off season, man, you go through a grind of 17 weeks of a regular season. And then, you know, our goal is obviously to always get in the postseason. Any Chiefs fans out there? Chiefs! But yeah, we're back in OTAs, coming off one heck of a season, and I appreciate all the support out there. But yeah, we're just getting back to the building stages, and time to roll again.
What about for you, Anthony? So hearing that from Eric, how is it for you jumping back into OTAs?
It's awesome. I mean, these are your brothers. Every day you go to work, you see each other, and you know, for those couple of months that you don't have with each other, you miss them, you know, and you get back and you get to see everyone. It's like a first day of school again for us. We all are excited, ready to work, ready to show each other that, you know, we're here for the long haul, and we're winning the Super Bowl.
That's awesome. Now I'm gonna switch gears for a moment because I know you like OTAs, but something that you really like is training camp. And you plan and you prepare for training camps, but not just what you're gonna do on the field, but you really plan and prepare what you're gonna wear to training camp. I've got some pictures right here. Well, there it is. Come on now. That takes a man's man right there to make that happen. Anthony, bro, tell us, what goes into making that happen?
I mean, a lot of time and thought on how I'm gonna one-up myself from the year before. My wife helped me last year pick out that wrestling singlet. I think the biggest thing is I just wanna be that last bit of laughter before we start camp, which is we're up at 8:15 for practice, and we're not done till 9:30 at night. So it's just one of those things where if I can get a laugh and guys give me, you know, a hard time about it, it's, you know, we're all having a good time, enjoying ourselves, and just kind of keep our mind off of what's going to come in the morning.
That's good. Now, any insights on what you got coming this year?
I think I got 2 ideas right now, but I can't tell anyone.
I tried, guys. I tried, all right? Now, Kamu, for you, man, last year you guys won the Super Bowl. And 2 years ago, 2 years ago you won the Super Bowl. This year the season ended a little bit differently. How has approaching OTAs this year been different than it was last year?
Yeah, I mean, coming off that Super Bowl, and I don't know, I'm probably outnumbered here, but any Eagles fans here? Couple, we got a couple, all right. You know, coming off that Super Bowl year, which was obviously the franchise's first win, amazing year. All of us were going crazy. It was, you know, we're having that, what they call the Super Bowl hangover, where the OTAs came up pretty quick. And, you know, we didn't have the outcome we did, we wanted last year. So coming into this year, I feel like we got that out of the way, and we're re-energized and we're ready to hit it hard again. So hopefully see these guys in the offseason, in the postseason.
Now that'll be good. Well, you know, this is the draft season right here, and so, you know, it kicked off yesterday. And with the #1 pick, the Arizona Cardinals went with, from the University of Oklahoma Boomer Sooner, Kyler Murray. But a few years ago, back in 2013, Kansas City Chiefs had the #1 pick. And for their #1 pick, they went with an offensive tackle from Central Michigan, the one and only Eric Fisher right here. So Eric, tell us, what was it like, you know, going through that journey and then getting to that point where the commissioner says, and with the #1 pick, you're the selection?
Yeah, I guess the way I would describe it after listening to Pastor Foster is, you know, letting God work in my life for something bigger, you know, starting as soon as I played football. I mean, I started out as like a 4th string middle linebacker, and I don't know, man, I set my eyes on the prize, and I just sacrificed everything I could to get to where I went. And, you know, it's the little things that you give up to dedicate your life to something. And to hear my name called in Radio City, in New York City, I mean, it was such a surreal moment. You know, a moment you almost black out and don't know what's going on. But for everything to come to fruition and, you know, to experience that, it was absolutely amazing. So just, you know, watching last night, knowing what those guys are feeling, you know, it's a good thing.
Awesome. And then for you, Anthony, what about you? 8 years ago, you were drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. What is that moment like for you as you're preparing, gearing up, and it's draft day?
I mean, for me, being a fullback, there may be 1 or 2 taken in a draft. So, you know, I went in with the hope and prayer that I would get called, and you know, a blessing happened, and my name was called in the 5th round. And I went there and didn't tell, which was my girlfriend, but now my wife at the time, not necessarily you make the team. So she was like, hey, I want to come out there, and I want to see where we're going to live and stuff. And I was like, I'll hold off a little bit, just because in this profession, either any 3 of us could get a phone call tomorrow, and it's over with the team. So it's one of those things where you're just going to keep your head down and pray that you make it through the cuts and continue to do something we like to love.
That's awesome. Very cool. Now, for you, Kamu, your story is a little different in that you were drafted by a team that you later went on to beat in the Super Bowl, which was pretty epic. But the New England Patriots drafted you a few years ago, and then a few months later they let you go, but then you were picked up by the Philadelphia Eagles. Tell us, what was that journey like for you? The emotional roller coaster, all of that. Walk us through what those first few moments of your career, what was that like?
Yeah. You know, coming from a smaller school, I went to Eastern Illinois, D1 AA school, and you know, kind of coming out of that grind, you know, it wasn't, you know, for some of the bigger school guys, it's kind of, you know, you got the big name, you got the big school, you kind of can, you know, I wouldn't say walk into it, but it's an easier path. So for me, you know, having to grind and make a name for myself coming out of that process, when I got drafted, I was like, yes, here I am, you know, I made it. And I kind of got that real taste of the business real quick when I was the last cut after training camp. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, dang, is this really over? So Philly calls me a couple hours later, and they're like, pack your bags, come down, drive down. So went there, and I showed up at Philly, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Like, you know, just wasn't really sure on like my emotions at the time. And I mean, we'll get into this a little later, but it's been the biggest blessing of my entire life.
That's cool. And how did it feel going up against the Patriots? You know,
yeah.
what was that like? Tell us, man.
No better feeling than that. I mean, you can't even describe that right there. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we see them again, or hope these guys can take care of them next year.
Exactly.
Can I get an amen on that? Eric, as an offensive tackle, it's your responsibility to protect the QB. And so when you came into the league, you came as a left tackle, and then you switched over to the right tackle position. how did you have to change the way that you played the game, your style of play? How did that shift in the change of positions?
Yeah, I mean, unless you've done it before, it's pretty hard to, describe, but it's basically like growing up right-handed and then when you get a real job, switching to left-handed. So, I played one position for 4 years and then go over to the right. It's an adjustment and there's a lot of learning. But just keeping your nose at the grindstone and keep working every day. That's the biggest thing is, not getting down, just keeping a positive attitude, coming to work, and make the most of it.
So how does that look, though, with that switch? Now, you're protecting the QB, obviously, but what are the defensive schemes? What does it look like that they're bringing at you from that side, from that angle, now that you switch?
Yeah, it's not so much the scheme thing. It's more like I'm used to being like this, and now it's like go like this, So it's different because, the muscle memory, I'm kind of like a one-sided dude. Like, my muscles are bigger on one side than the other. It's weird. But, because a lot of people get to go straight forward, we're always, in one stance. But, back at left tackle for the last 5 years and loving every moment.
That's great, man. Sticking with Chiefs Kingdom for a moment, for both of you guys, Anthony and Eric, you guys have played, for two different styles of QBs. You had a pocket passer in Alex Smith, and you've got Patrick Mahomes, who's not a pocket passer. How have you had to adjust the way that you played the game as that quarterback position has changed?
I think the biggest thing is for us is Alex was great with the reads, and he would go through his progression and throw his reads. Pat, if you're open, he's throwing it. He doesn't care who it is, who's running the route, what route it is, he's throwing the ball to you. So everyone has to be alert at all times. In our offense, there's no decoys. You could get the ball thinking you're a decoy because he's got the arm to get it there. So it's just one of those things, we're always being ready, and then for my aspect of blocking is he might not be in the spot you think he is. So you attack the guy and try to stay in front of him as best as possible, and hopefully he gets it out quick enough.
What about for you, Eric? What's the change-up been for you?
Yeah. It's so exciting with Pat. Just basically we do our job, and then we get almost like a show. We never get to touch the ball. We don't get to do anything fun. So just being with we basically have the best seats in the whole stadium. We do our job real quick, and then just, okay, let's watch the Mahomes show. So it is pretty awesome, man. And, we're lucky to have a guy like that at such a young age. We're looking forward to many, many great seasons.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Kamu, for you, you have evolved as a player. Came into the league, you're doing special teams. Now you're a linebacker. You're listed on the roster as a backup kicker. What was that journey look like for you, man? Going from where you were to now being a starting linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, after, like I always said, after I got cut from the Patriots, I saw it as a second opportunity that God was giving me, and I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I don't care what they ask me to do. Literally, I had to kick the ball, because our kicker got hurt. They're like, you gotta kick. I was like, all right, here we go. So I just saw it as whatever they asked me to do, I'm gonna try and be the best at that. So, my first 2 years, all I did was special teams, and it was a blessing. And I got to learn from some of the greatest in the league. And then last year, my third year, finally moved up to that starting linebacker role, and just trying to, year by year, like I said, just keep on moving, keep on getting better, and keep pushing forward.
Cool. That's great. Now, rivalries. Let's talk about rivalries for a moment, all right? As a fan, we get into rivalry games, but I want to know as a player, what are these games like? And for Chiefs Kingdom, let's just say you guys are playing the Broncos this week. Tell us, what goes into getting ready for a rivalry game that's different than a normal game?
Yeah, come on now.
Security? Excuse me, security, please.
Yeah, those games, which just happen to be primetime usually, those are the games that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we're going to look back on and be like, man, remember that time we beat the Broncos and Arrowhead, and we've been lucky to have quite a few of those, along with the Philadelphia Eagles. No, but you only can hype up a game so much because we're so trained, week after week after week to prepare the same way. And, you start doing things out of your abilities, and next thing you know, you're a different player, you're a different person, in a different mindset. So just, I guess consistency for us is huge, but I guess in here it's like, those are the games that, you're going to remember for life.
Now, let's hit on that and continue with what Eric is talking about. Why don't you tell us, Anthony, what's happening in the locker room? What's the mindset of the team going into that rivalry game? That's a little bit different than the other games. So as a team, what does that look like when you guys are talking, you guys are meeting up, practices, all of that?
I think the biggest thing is just it's gonna, like Eric said, it's a primetime game. So everyone gets to see it everywhere, and we just want to show our best in those spots, and we want everyone in the league to know that we're real and it's not just every once a week kind of thing. And the guys just rally behind each other. We know we got a great quarterback. Defense is going to play better, and we're going to go out there and just give everything we got week in and week out, and we'll see where our cards are laid at the end.
And it's a win, right?
100%.
That's right. There you go. Now, Kamu, for you, it's not the Broncos, it's not the Raiders that get under your skin. For you, it's actually America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Boo! It's the Cowboys that Eagles players and fans are not fond of. Tell us, what's it like, Eagles versus Cowboys? Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys heard the news last year. I'm probably not even allowed in Dallas right now, but I don't know. It's the fans really started off, and they do have a hatred for each other that I'll never understand. But it's like they said, it really is like that game is heightened. And for me, I'm like, I don't care what I'm doing. We could be playing bags or anything. I like to talk. So when I get in those situations, I feel like talk it up a little bit makes it a little more fun. So. That's just me, but they're completely right when they're saying those games are the games you're gonna remember. And coming into when we play the Cowboys, it's like, let's go time. Everyone's laser focused.
Gotcha. Very cool. No, they're definitely fun to watch, fun to be a part of, and it really is cool. I can't imagine going into those moments knowing, hey, whether you're going into the opposing team stadium or not, just that environment, that hostile environment, to play in that, it really is fun, and it's cool to hear from your vantage point kind of what you're feeling and going into it. No matter what team you're on, in the NFL, brotherhood is something that is very important, and something that, that every player you talk to, you hear that from them is, hey, the brotherhood, us working together. How has that impacted your life, the camaraderie, knowing guys got your back? How has that impacted your lives personally?
Yeah, for us, we've been very fortunate. Not every locker room is like the Kansas City Chiefs locker room. There's a core group of guys that have been together for a very long time, and we rely on one another. No matter what we're going through in life, everybody deals with stuff, and just to have friends, brothers that are in faith with you, to be able to bounce things off them, talk to them. Having a hard day, hey man, pick me up. I think that's one thing that we're very fortunate. We just try to keep that together when someone starts slipping away, bring them back on board and keep on grinding.
What about for you guys? What are your thoughts on that as far as brotherhood?
I think the closer you are as a team, the more accountable you can hold each other. And when you can hold each other accountable and make sure your goal is one thing and you're all moving that one direction, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's one of those things where it's a lot of fun. You give each other, back and forth, but at the end, hey, game day, he's going to give me everything he's got, and he knows that I'm going to give everything I got for him.
That's really good. And Kamu, what do you have to say as
Yeah.
far as for you personally how that's felt?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are hitting it right on the head. I feel like, you know, when your brothers know that you have their back and I have theirs, it kind of takes the pressure off everything, you know. The pressure's gone. I can just play because I know no matter what. And honestly, outside of football, because I just know that I have someone when I'm at my lowest point. I have someone that I can come to. So. it's really
Now,
awesome.
talking about pressure for a moment, there's a lot of pressure that you guys are facing, the pressure to perform, you know, the pressure to play week in and week out and at the highest level. How have you been able to handle pressure? And because I know that every one of us face those kind of times, but share personally how you've been able to walk through those times and what that's looked like for you in facing the pressures of life that are thrown your way.
Yeah, definitely. For me, you know, being the number one overall pick, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and you know, it's a transition. You know, coming out of a small school. You know, I guess for me, I went through some struggles early on, but you know, I look back and I look where I am at now, and it's like I would never be here without those struggles. And you know, turning to God for me was what got me through those struggles. You know, just taking one day at a time, figuring out what got me to where I was, you know, go back to the basics and, you know, grind your way back. So yeah, dealing with the pressure though, you know, coming out to 70,000 roaring fans, man, there's nothing like it. But, you know, you just go back to like repetition, man, and we train and train and train and just repeat the same thing over and over again. And eventually it just becomes second nature and you go out there and have fun.
And you had talked about this earlier. You were saying through those dark times and difficult times for you, it was your faith in God that helped you get through it. What in particular, how are you able to really, you know, I guess, dial down and really get yourself and your mindset, your heart, your attitude, everything right, and really allow God to do a work in your life to get you to this point and out of some of those times?
Yeah, it's, I think the thing that hits home is, you know, if you stray away from God at a certain point in life, you know, stuff starts to build up on your back. And, you know, then you start digging yourself in a hole. And when you can give God things to handle for you as soon as they happen, you know, nothing builds up and, you know, you can just flourish and, you know, be yourself. So, you know, I think for me it was like, you know, don't let those things build up. You know, I found myself out of a hole, and, you know, from then on there, I just continue to let myself, you know, give things to God.
That's very cool. That's awesome. And for you, Anthony, with pressure, what does that look like for you? How has that maybe been different from the way that you do life? How have you been able to handle that?
The biggest thing is preparation. If I know I'm prepared and I know I've done everything that I can and I'm in physical, mental shape to be able to handle it, well, you know someone else has your back and he's put you in this situation to shine. So just going out there and giving everything you got and letting him make the decision and what happens.
It's good. And then for you, Kamu?
Yeah, like Eric said, man, if, you know, when I feel myself distancing myself from God, I feel anxious. I'm starting to feel, you know, maybe a little depressed. I just feel that like I'm bearing so much weight. But when I reconnect and I just run towards him, I just feel like he's right in saying that his grace sets us free, you know, and I'm no longer a slave to fear, which is that's what I feel when I feel pressure, you know what I mean? Yeah. So when I'm, you know, when I just reconnect and just come back to my foundation, all that goes away.
Yeah. And so the key there, and with all three of you guys, I mean, as you're talking about it, faith has been the thing that has allowed you to press through and really get to the other side when pressures come your way. Now, Kamu, I want to stick with you for just a moment because your story, it's really cool with the Eagles. You joined the Eagles, and a month later, I mean, we've heard the stories about revival happening in the Eagles locker room, but for you, a month after joining the Eagles, there was the picture that went viral of you at the facility in the pool. You've got Trey Burton, who was with us on one side, your chaplain on the other. You're getting baptized. And so tell us about what did that look like for you in your spiritual journey? What was going on?
just a little background. I mean, like how I was saying earlier, growing up, I was in a household where, you know, we believed in God, but we weren't a household that really went to church. We didn't really read the Bible much, but we knew, you know, in my house, like, there was a higher power. But so it wasn't really involved that much. So, you know, especially after New England, it came so clear to me when I went to Philly, that when I first got to Philly, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, this is, you know, the city is not for me. Like, this journey is not for me. But it's been the greatest. That was God telling me, just hold on. I got something like special for you. And I don't know if you guys have caught up, like, been catching up with our locker room, but we have a lot of really good guys in there that are solid believers. And I remember it was my rookie season on like the third game. I remember it like yesterday. We were playing the Steelers. The night before the game, Trey Burton actually comes up to me and says, "Hey, what are you doing after this?" I'm like, "I'm going to sleep. We have a game tomorrow." And he's like, "No, just come chat with us for a little bit in the room." I was like, "All right, whatever." Go in there, and they're just doing a little Bible study. And I remember it just clear as day. My eyes were just wide open. And I never felt that feeling ever in my life. And from that day, it changed my life.
That's
and thank you. We played the Steelers that day, went in that next Tuesday, and we did a baptism right there. So
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That really is awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Now for you, Anthony, faith came through football. Tell us a little bit about your journey, and I know that someone investing in your life, namely your chaplain, that was very influential in you coming to the faith. Tell us about your journey with the Lord and what that's looked like.
Yeah, so I grew up on the East Coast, and if anyone's been there, it's not the most biblical area of the United States, and we were Catholic, and we went, church when we had to, and didn't really know anything else besides that, God, and that was it. And I was in Arizona when I first got drafted, and we started going to church. My wife took me and made me go, which, thank her now. And I just was like, okay, well, this is okay. I'll go with you on Sundays. That's fine. And then I got here. I got traded here, and it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Philip Kelly, he's over there. He's sitting over there. He was the team pastor at the time, and he didn't stop. He never stopped asking, just sharing, like stopping me, talking for a minute. Hey, why don't you come this week? Why don't you come this week? And I was like, okay, I'll go. Well, I sat in there. I was like, wow, I'm okay. I'm gonna go to Bible study. Jess, my wife, was already going and wanted me to come with her, and I sat there and I sat there like this. I didn't want to open up at all, and I know how you guys are that don't want to open up. It is awesome when you just let it go, and you just say, all right, you win, I'm done. And he stuck with me, and he baptized me, I want to say 2-3 years ago now. That's the best thing that's ever happened.
That is awesome. Very cool. In an arena this size, there are guys that are walking through difficult situations and challenges in their life, and they're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. They may look at you and say, hey, these are 3 NFL players. Life is made for you guys. You got everything that you need. Everything is good. But we know, hey, at the end of the day, we're all men. There's struggles. There's things that you faced. What would be a word of encouragement that you would give to someone out there that's walking through a difficult situation that you would say from your life, you've experienced, you've gotten to the other side? What word of encouragement would you give someone walking through a difficult situation?
I'll take it. I mean, I'll just be honest and say, I think maybe even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you wouldn't catch me dead in an arena, or a church, let alone an arena, going like this to a pastor or a worship song. And when I accepted Christ, I thought it was gonna be all dandelions and flowers, and it's definitely not that, I promise you. And like Pastor Jeremy was saying, you're gonna fall, you're gonna continue to fall. Every day you might fall. But as long as you don't be ashamed and turn your back, and I think the main thing that I just try to do and remind myself when I get to those times is just run. Just run straight to him. open up the Bible, turn on a worship song, do something just to be connected. And I mean, that's what truly changed my life. And I'm definitely not sitting here, I'm perfect. Trust me, I fall every single day, but that's what helps me.
That's a good word, Kamu. Now, what about for you guys? What would you say is a word of encouragement? How Christ has helped you? What would you share with them for you through difficult times?
Don't give up. Like Philip Kelly never give up on me, and just continue to. The biggest thing I think I found was surround yourself with people of Christ. That's good. And the more friends you have, that again, the brotherhood that will hold you accountable. Hey, did you read your Bible today? Or hey, you want to do a Bible study together? Like, just continue to stay with those type of people will help you, and someone you can lean on and talk to about anything. And it's one of those things, like Pastor was saying earlier, get in a group, get in a men's group, get around guys, get some guys' numbers in here that you're sitting next to tonight, and just shoot stuff back and forth with each other. You know you're in the same boat, and you guys can get through it together.
It's really good. That's a good word right there, isn't it? And what about for you, Eric? What would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would say, the thing that came to me was, be true to yourself. I think, in the world we're in today, that so many people try to put a label on you or tell you who you are, but you can be anyone, you can be anything with Jesus. And, it's just, being true to yourself, being able to look in the mirror and say, these 10 people are saying this about me, but this is who I am. And sticking with it and not just saying it. I think that comes with almost practice. But just in the world of hate and ugliness, just be true to yourself, be a good person, and every day look to make this world a better place.
That's awesome. Turning to God, you've got community, you've got identity, these three things that are here. And what's awesome about this moment is, you guys are NFL players, but you're men of God. And you guys are making an impact on one of the largest platforms in our country. And you're making a difference as men of God, as children of God. And it really is exciting to talk football, but also to hear it's your faith that's leading you and that's guiding you. And so I just want to say, on behalf of everybody in this room, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing your story.
Whoever does the schedule, don't put us after the best pastor of the night, please. Okay, thank you.
No, but it really is, and I'm excited, and it's going to be great to watch you guys out there praying for great success in this new year, that God would use you in greater ways to shine forth His light. But what we're going to do right now, fellas, is we've got some gifts that we want to give the stronger men in the house. And so we've got some footballs that these players have all autographed and signed.
I haven't been a quarterback since 9th grade, so
Might tear
let's
my
not
label
predict
doing
that.
it.
Hold on.
You
Real
might
quick,
be
real
able to
quick. Who thinks they can throw the farthest? Come on, which one of you? Sherman, you got it? Come on, let's do it. Let's see it. Let's see your arm strength. Sherman's going first. Let's do this. Boom, let's go. Kamu, go. You guys throw it out there. Throw it out there. You guys get ready to catch this. Let's go. You got a few more coming at you. Got 3 more. It's coming. Up top, up top. Oh! Oh! There you go. Hey, one more time. You got it up top too? There you go, baby. One more time. Let's give it up for these incredible NFL athletes.